In this video, I'm going to talk about 2 dumb things I do with my AI workflows and see if I can fix them with Pi Subagents. I don't know if you can relate, but my system prompt keeps growing. I keep adding more skills, MCP servers, all that sort of stuff, and I also keep opening more and more terminal tabs. Both of those things are super annoying, and they defeat the purpose of me moving to Pi in the first place. So today we're going to look at how and why to install Subagents onto our Pi harness. Let's get into it. All right, quick catch up for those of you still using Claude Code or Codex or whatever. Pi is an agent harness just like those platforms, except it's way more stripped down. So in Claude Code and Codex, they've come preloaded with all sorts of different features and skills and whatnot. Pi doesn't do any of that. They've only got 4 skills right out of the box, and that is kind of the appeal. You can add all those different things and build out your own custom integrations. It's just that they don't force them on you. You add things on as you go, so you're not inheriting a ton of system prompt bloat right off the top. That is, of course, until you start using this day-to-day and you find yourself adding things to it. If you're anything like me, it is pretty easy to get this thing to Claude Code levels of bloat. Every MCP server, every skill, every hey, remember this, it all makes the system prompt heavier. And yeah, it's absolutely customized for you, but it starts to add back the bloat that you were trying to dodge in the first place. So I mean, that's dumb thing number one. The second dumb thing that I do comes from, an attempt to exercise good context hygiene, and then I'm opening a new terminal for every different tab. For example, one for research, one for writing code, one for review after the fact, whatever it is, right? But then the problem with that is I'm still passing on that bloated system prompt to each one of those terminal instances, and that's not saving tokens at all. So Pi Subagents made sense to me as a solution to both these problems because I want the main prompt to stay lean, right? I don't need my entire playbook in every single session, and I want to stop opening brand new sessions for every small little task. So anyway, that is the thought process behind it. I haven't actually implemented any of this for myself yet. I thought we would do that together, and then that way if anything comes up and I hit any snags or anything like that, we can see it at the same time, and you guys can implement this sort of thing for yourself as well. So the desired workflow right now, anyway, is I have one boss Pi agent with my main sort of system prompt explaining how this all works. I've got a scout that does the context summarization that we've seen. Oracle, which challenges, researches, gets a second opinion. Worker actually goes and executes a scoped task, and then a review, right? So with that, in the top agent system prompt, I need to tell it exactly who does what context those agents need, whether it's a foreground or background task, what needs to be reviewed once it gets there, and then what done looks like. I need it some success criteria. I want to keep it really minimal right now, just with a couple subagents, just to see how this works and if it feels right. But later on, I want to put my common workflows into these different subagent tasks. If you look up subagents, there's a lot of different information, and it was kind of confusing, right? There's a lot of different frameworks like Agent of Empires and all sorts of stuff. But like I said, I want to start simple. So if I go to the Pi page, it's got packages, and one of those packages happens to be most downloaded is Subagents, Pi Subagents. They're making it easy for us. But if you check out this guy's GitHub, actually, this fella here, he's got a lot of really, really great stuff that I'm going to check out later, right? Like Pi Discord, you can throw a Discord bot for your Pi agent. Anyway, this cat seems legit. If you find anything useful or interesting, please make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel. YouTube says there's only 10% of you that are actually subscribed, so that would really help me out, and also let the algorithm know that you want to see more content just like this. Let's get back to it. I'm going to go over here and I'm going to copy this since I've already got the Pi harness installed and stuff. You know what? Let's just do the big boy right there. And we're going to use the install command that I got from here. Pi install npm subagents. Okay, so I got an error. It says I ran into a version mismatch. I was using an older version of Pi, and Nico's subagents expected the new one, so we ran into some trouble. Now I'm going to start this up, and hopefully everything works. About to find out. There you go. Okay, cool. Okay, updated. Everything is working out. Okay, so let's go /subagent doctor. I'm just trying to get a lay of the land because under the repo here, it says that there's a bunch of different agents that they've got, right? Scout, researcher, planner, worker, reviewer, context builder, Oracle, delegate, right? So I think I just want these guys for now. So this is interesting. It's taking a lot of the things and the skills and workflows that I've got, and they're being picked up as subagents by the Pi Subagent thing. So what happened here was I had a symlink still in place from when I was using anti-gravity as my single source of truth from, my Claude skills and everything. I wanted everything in one place so that my agents knew exactly where to look. But since I'm no longer using those platforms, I don't really need them. I can just keep them in the one workflows folder. in my Obsidian vault, and everything is cool. So 2 problems right off the top: make sure that your Pi is up to date and you're using the correct version before you download your Subagents workflow. And secondly, it might be a little bit messy if you're using symlinks and stuff like that before. All right, so let's reload and see what happens. Once that's all set up, I also recommend getting Pi intercom so that these other subagents can talk to each other. Just gives you a little bit more flexibility from what I understand. And then refresh the session so everything is all loaded. So in order to actually run the agents, you just go /run and then space to pick whichever one you want. There are more here than I had originally wanted, but we'll just go where is our scout? /run scout, and we'll ask it about something. Can you look through the vault to find context on our Pi agent harness videos, please, and see what we've already done in terms of research? And then Scout is going to go and do that. So I actually just ran this the wrong way. Remember how we were saying this decides whether it's foreground or background mode? I just went in and went /run, and they went into the foreground mode, so it was exactly the same as running it in the one terminal. So let's see how we fix this and make this work better. Yeah, launch Scout background. There we go. So you got to query this with the background. So let's say launch reviewer background. And then I'm going to query it with the thing. I want you to go over Scout's research on the Pi agent harness and see if it matches where I'm going with the task today. Subagent reviewer working in the background. Okay, this is working the way that I wanted it to now. Reviewer says Scout is mostly aligned. Today's video should be about practical Pi subagents workflow rather than Pi versus Claude /own harness. So that's the other thing we got to do. So we go parallel, and then you list the tasks. So I'm going to go run instead. Parallel agent, researcher. And I'm going to go background. Can you research how we would be able to use widgets inside the Pi harness to see the status of our subagents? We'll just see how this goes, and then I can continue. I think it's good to have an understanding of like how to do this with your short commands, like your slashes and stuff like that, but you can actually just like dictate this stuff. Like our friend here was saying, run parallel reviews on this diff, right? Have worker implement the approved plan. I kind of want to do that, right? Get a second opinion. Ask Oracle to review the plan and challenge the assumptions. Solve hard problems. Oh, it's working in the main agent now. Okay, so researcher. Oh, dude, this is cool. Okay, so when researcher is done, it sends a letter from subagent results. 1 completed. Intercom targets below identify child sessions. Okay. So this is what I was talking about with intercom. It like sends it back so you can see what was up there. So this is what I wanted. I wanted a research agent to go and dig through some stuff on its own, then send back findings rather than my main agent going and wasting all those tokens on every research pass or like looking things up, all that stuff. I have another agent doing that. First things first, yes, you can use Pi widgets for subagent status, and then in this setup, the main path is mostly already implemented. Awesome. So that was that blue bar that it's talking about, right? Like where it said researcher async running and then telling you what it was doing. I kind of wanted like an actual sort of like dashboard looking widget out of the thing. It might be a little clunky, but I'll build it out and see what happens. But we can do just that. Custom layout, subagents, researcher, reviewer, worker, and then have it like above the editor, which sounds like what I want. Let's start with the built-in one. Sounds great. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole quite yet. I'm just going to see one more thing here too. Is there a way to assign different models and thinking levels to these different subagents? Yes, you can use different models and different thinking levels for each individual agent, but you need to override them either per run or through the project or in the actual front matter of that agent file. How do we use these in parallel? Now we know. You know what? I'm not going to do this anymore with like the slash commands when I want to run one then another. I kind of want to just like tell it to make some of these things a chain or tell it exactly how I want these to roll because there's some weird formatting stuff that I don't quite understand yet. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to get that session file and I'm just going to tell it what's up. Okay, so use the Scout agent to get context and information about this project. Then use the Oracle agent to review that gathered context and critique the execution, find gaps, and just overall be critical. Let's see if that does anything. So this is the widget that they were talking about. This is the built-in one, just like with the working here. I think I want to use this in the background. Can you run that task, both of those in the background, please, asynchronously? Async, chain, it's working. Okay, cool. Subagent chains run in the background. We can keep working normally. If/when we need results, we can check. So it's doing step 1 of 2, Scout's running, 8 turns, calling some stuff. I think the next thing I need to do and like get into is like define which model and thinking level I want for each of these things, you know what I mean? So for the Scout agent, I want something like fast. So I'm being totally honest, this is gonna take a little bit of getting used to. It's not my workflow that I've been using for this whole time, you know what I mean? So anything that's different has a bit of a learning curve, but I think like this is exactly what I wanted. So like you can see now Scout is complete. It's given that information to the Oracle agent and that's running, and then I'll get the intercom message back to my main workflow. Now I really want to customize the harness so this isn't so like clunky looking and it may be a little bit more intuitive. I could probably do some damage in terms of like how to route these different commands and have like, you know, shortcuts and stuff. So if I could do some sort of TypeScript or like pop out or something where I could look at these agents and see how they're doing, but like not have it in the way, that would be kind of cool. And here's the point of all this. I'm only at 9% of my context window after all of this is done. Okay, so I'm gonna go /new, and I really need to design my actual main system prompt now. You know, like the one for my baseline Pi agent, to trim it back and make sure that we're not giving all this extra context to every agent. I'd like you to use the planner agent to figure out how we should rework our main Pi agent system prompt. Once that's done, I would like you to use the Oracle agent to critique and improve upon that suggested plan. All right, sweet, we're back. So it says use the planner first, then Oracle to critique that plan, log the work in daily notes. Sweet. Use this architecture. Agents.md do not adjust the Pi system for v1 until we figure all this stuff because it adds risk. Sounds good to me. Planner's plan was good, but too broad. Instead of creating a bunch of different agents, just plan 3 and test them out. Sounds good. Seems like I'm gonna have to do like a bit of legwork in order to like, you know, get this working the way that we want it to, but that is okay with me. Or if it's all the same, right? Like really the workflow that I wanted was like, I missed the agent manager and like anti-gravity, and the Codex app does something similar where you'd have like one window where you watch all of the different conversations go and do its thing while you just like oversee everything. So that's what I want. That's where I'm at right now. I just kind of want more visibility to it. Reviewing honestly, this looks great, except I want it to work the way that his does with the pop-ups and whatnot. Okay, so like that is a different video in terms of like UI and like shell commands and stuff. Moving forward though, you guys already saw exactly how I'm going to use this day to day, right? Like use Scout to get context on this project, or like use 3 different research agents to get context on different angles that I want to look up for a YouTube video, and then turn that into a brief for me, right? Like these sub-agents are going to be super, super good in making sure things get done effectively. Anyway, thanks for hanging out with me. Stay tuned for the customization and theming video. Also, if you want to get started with building out your own Pi harness, you can check the link in the description where I give you resources to do just that. And be sure to join us in the school community where we're talking shop all day. Thanks so much. We'll see you in the next one.